like, as we always say, you just got to communicate. That's our answer to every fucking question you guys got.
That's it.
The more you know. On Quest for Player 2 on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I am LT.
I am Battlestar Galactica. Daniel Trump.
Oh, that's it? That was a
short
one.
I didn't want to go long.
Oh, okay. All right. Got the hype up.
Yeah, feel it. That's it. I'm
but what's up, everybody in the chat? We're so glad that you could join us.
So far.
I know, you were far.
So weird. Okay, all right.
Or maybe I should move over. We're not centered. Whatever.
All right. Well, as Elle was saying, we are glad that you guys tuned in. Like Jessica says, you can be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us.
It's true.
And we appreciate it. We definitely do. Today on this episode of Quest for Player 2, our conversation is going to be about, changing oneself. And is it good to change yourself for a person of interest?
Yeah, because we talked about The Good Boys last week, and I finished The Boys on Amazon Prime, and I thought that was super interesting. Fuck soups. No, but really, in that show, I know, that's so good.
Oh God, I love it.
And I've also just finished Brightburn, which is kind of like the evil superhero trope, and like having kind of an honest look of if people had powers, and that kind of leads us into this of like, especially for The Boys. I don't know if you've seen it, but one of the major things are kind of like, I don't even know if he's the main protagonist because it's such a good ensemble.
I guess he is.
But Huey?
Yeah, I guess he is.
But
when you think about it, like.
Yeah, but the first story arc, man, that ending didn't even circle around him, so I kind of feel like he wasn't our main protagonist. Don't want to spoil it in case you didn't see it, but we have a character named Huey.
He's kind of like the starting point for everything.
Yeah, he is. Like,
we can say what was in the trailer. His girlfriend got, imagine the Flash speeding through town. And he's going top speed.
And he bumped this girl, but, she doesn't go flying. She imploded.
And just, liquid just floating over around.
It's gruesome.
Gone. She's done.
If you want something super dark and super gruesome,
if you want...
I want to say it's almost on the scale of, Breaking Bad, but, later seasons of Breaking Bad is where it starts.
If you want Watchmen inspired by the later seasons of Breaking Bad...
Yes.
There you go. Watch this show. Trust me, it's good. It's
dark
good.
Though, and it is gruesome. It is absolutely gruesome. The topics that they touch on are absolutely terrible at times.
Definitely.
But man, it makes for compelling TV. Woo! And I don't know if it's one of those things where he's doing these risque, gross things for the sake of it, or because it means something. But I don't know. I'm cooked. I'm cooked. After that first scene with arms, I was like, gotta watch this.
But with it does bring the question of because every superhero, pretty much, you can have a secret identity. If you have a secret identity, then, you have to hide who you are, etc., etc. And you have to put on a mask and pop out to the world as the superhero, and then later go back and retreat into the regular world without being a superhero. So the thing is, it's the question people usually ask with Batman. When you say there's Batman, which one is the real person? Is it Batman? Is it Bruce Wayne? Everyone knows the answer, which is?
It's amalgamation of both.
Okay, there you go. That's even a better answer.
It's true.
Better answer, because a lot of people are like, oh, Batman's a real person. Bruce Wayne has now become the mask.
I mean, it is true that is him, but like, let's be real. Bruce Wayne really enjoys his perks
He
every
does.
once in a
I was
while.
gonna say, you know,
Like,
if
you
he
see him
wasn't-
going around and he's got the models and he's in a pool and doing all this stuff. I'm like, I don't care how stoic Batman may be. Bruce Wayne is actually living it up.
Bruce
At
Wayne
least
is.
a little bit. You can't do that.
He is, and he likes to flaunt it. He does, because even when it's just him and Superman talking, and he's like, well, guess I'll go to my mansion. Where are you going, Clark? And he's like,
Back to your
"Dude,
newspaper
yeah,
business?
back to your newspaper.
Congratulations.
Back to your cool condo.
If he even has one in
You
that
broke.
universe.
You broke. You broke. And he just flies off. And he's like, wait, how did you even fly off? Jetpack.
Right?
He's just Batman. Batman does what he wants.
And Anthony Manzano asks, Hale, why does it seem in general that when people first meet you, they tend to be putting on an act with a big smile and a fake happy face? It's because we're brought up that way.
Yeah, we're
I
brought
mean,
up to
that's-
actually put our best foot forward, and that's the whole thing. That's what you do. You wear a mask when you go out in society all the time,
Yeah.
no matter what you do. So you
And
have
it
to
is
put
one
it
of
on.
those
You have
things.
to look great.
Hey, we already got a super chat from Larry Newbill. What's up? He loves us.
Oh, we love you too.
Of course we do.
We love you too.
Glad you could join us. We're not
I
on
learned that
two.
from you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. We love you too. Hey, yeah, and then
Hard. I
what?
can't. This one's hard.
Right, okay.
This one's hard.
Can't.
All right. It's kind of janky.
Mine
Let's-
just looks like a. I don't.
Okay.
It's The Rock. No, is that okay? Close. I always thought Batman was a true person, and Bruce is a mask, and vice
is
versa
true.
for Superman. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Marvel and Sony did break up, but good things are going to come of that.
I know, right?
I'm probably sure. I don't know.
Was-
It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing.
Was Sony putting on a fake face with us the whole time, saying
Probably.
like, "Yeah, we're working with Marvel and it's gonna be great," blah blah. But now the talks are breaking down, and it comes time for them to start thinking about the new quarters within the year, and they're like,
No.
"We want to make this much," and you're like, "Oh, you want to make this much?" But that means we'd only make this. Oh, so now it's a fight.
Yeah.
Now it's a fight, and now all of a sudden the talks break down, and you're
It's
like,
true.
"Man."
A cause of a lot of relationship issues do boil down to money. Let's
Money.
be real. As you want to think it's about love, but it's gonna come down to money at some point or another. You're gonna have that argument. Do
Yeah,
trust.
that's true. That's
But
true.
yeah, kind of going back to like putting on that fake face is true. Like especially here in America, I feel like
yeah.
it's more prevalent. You won't find this out anywhere else in the world when it's like, "How are you?" We don't
Oh
actually
my
care.
God! No!
We don't
I've
care.
learned. I don't ask how are you, or how's it going.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you do that, I don't care. So I don't want to ask you that, and then one day get cornered by the person that's
Yeah.
like, "Man, my life is shit. Everything's falling apart," and I'm like, "Oh, I've only got 2 minutes. So if we can't sum it up, I've got to go." Now
Yeah,
I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, and
You
it
know?
sucks. But in America, it is assumed like we have this kind of general acceptance that how are you? Good,
Mm-hmm.
thanks, and you move on your way. But if you meet someone else from any other country, they will tell you how they are because it's like it's a genuine question to them.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
just ask how are you when you don't want an answer. But in America, it's a weird thing that we do, and
is.
it is putting on a fake face. So it's like whenever you see, no matter how hurt you are inside, when the grocer's bagging your stuff, oh, so how are you doing? You don't want to lay out your life story. There's a line of 10 people behind you.
Yes, yes.
You know, like we ain't got time for that.
Oh.
So putting on a fake face, putting on a smile when you first meet someone, it is kind of built into our society that's what you do. That's just part of the manners, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's manners, but the thing is, it's like, why do manners have to be something that teaches us to be disingenuous?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Toku. When Daniel asked, how you're doing, he really didn't care.
No, I never
No.
cared. I never care. I
His
never
breaks
do.
to you. Sorry, Toku.
You're not even real. So, I don't...
true.
That's how I see it in my head.
Yeah, you don't have a real name, so
No, yeah.
it's Toku Kid.
Yeah, so you're not real. So, moving on. Toku's like, I'm just finding this out! Ah, he's just like fading away.
The sad emoji.
Oh, Daniel, do you think it's hard to show who you really are when you first meet someone without my people tend to put a fake facade acting Superman?
No.
Oh,
It's-
because most people tend to put on a fake facade and acting. Yeah, I mean.
No, I feel like that's what makes it easier. If you want to meet people, you need to be nice. How many people
Yeah.
are you going to go, I'm having a terrible day? And
Yeah,
you're going to be
well,
like, oh, let's be best friends. Let's be
It's
real. Let's be real.
More
Are you-
flies. More
Yeah.
flies with whatever than
With honey,
what is it?
other
yeah,
than
honey than whatever,
water,
I don't know.
something.
Poop. No poop.
I don't know,
The
poop
yeah,
poop is really attractive to flies.
Yeah. honey more than cotton. I don't know. Here's cotton. Here's honey. They're gonna go for
Yeah.
the honey. You have to be nice. You have to. Like we said, it's in our society. It's a thing we do where we happen to be just intentionally disingenuous. Unfortunate, but true. We have
That's
to
why
be
you
sure
have
to put the
close
first-
friends and
yes.
family that you can vent to, and why you need to have like a core support group.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is hard to do or hard to like build those relationships, but when you first meet someone, like if someone's being mean, it's like, what do you want? Do you
Yeah.
want to be friends with someone like that? Are you gonna? How often are you gonna take the time to be like, it sounds like
The
you're
meme
having
says
a
it all.
terrible day? When you ask someone how they're doing, and they actually tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all Robert Downey Jr. in this.
Unfortunately, we are. That's why I have devised a new way to do it. Instead of asking people how they're doing,
Yeah.
just say, hello, I hope your day goes well. Or
Yeah.
I hope your day ends well.
Yeah.
This way, it's like, no matter what,
In
'cause
the
you can't
future.
say, you can't say, I
Oh,
hope
it's
your
been
day
terrible,
goes
yeah.
well, or I hope your day is going well.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, it's not, and blah, blah. You're like, dang. So you have to
I
say.
like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
You have to just, hey, how you doing? I hope your day ends well. And then walk away.
But yeah, so Lashana says.
Oh,
when
there you
first
go.
meet
It's honey
someone-
more than vinegar. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's
But you
what
had
it
to be
is.
yourself more. So it depends. I feel like in a dating relationship, obviously you are going to try to put your best foot forward.
True.
Because how often, I think people, it kind of depends on the person. I feel like people tend to be happier, or at least neutral, more often than angry. So that's why you kind of put on that facade of like, this is how I would be typically. And then maybe on the third or fourth date, that's when you'd be like, oh, you're annoying. And just
Oh,
see how it is, you
no.
know? But on the first date, you
Now
might
I'm
be-
wilding out. Oh,
because you're happy. But I feel like
cocaine.
you shouldn't lie about anything. But
I don't know why that came to mind.
But yeah.
right. I don't know. I don't know. Do you notice Trump sniffles a lot?
yeah.
He does a lot of coke, dude. I promise you. He probably. I mean, it was the
Adderall.
80s and the 90s.
Oh, Adderall?
Adderall?
No.
Crushes it up, snorts it.
So, oh man, dude, I bet he did though. I bet. Anyway, that has nothing to do with love, unless you want to. Oh my God, the mask that Elania puts on every day, she
Yeah.
has to see him. That has to be a mask. Oh, that has to be the worst thing ever. You have to put on this mask for this man that you definitely hate and will never
Super
have sex
chat. Larry Newville, how's your night going, you two? Well,
Oh.
let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
It's going great. I'm
Oh.
so glad that you guys could be
Good,
here.
good.
But it's true. And even when I come on this show, I gotta let you know that, like, I am generally a very happy, outgoing person.
yeah.
But I kind of feel like sometimes on the show, I try to bump it up ever so slightly to be enthusiastic for you guys. But when you meet me in person, I'll be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? You know, like, cool. You know?
Sure,
Like, I'm not
sure.
gonna be like, oh, in
I'm
your
not
face.
always on.
In your face
I'm
all
not
the
always
time.
on, yeah,
But I
that's it.
am on for at least this hour every
Yeah.
Tuesday night for
And more
Quest for Player
vulgar.
2. Yeah, and a lot more vulgar with you guys because
Yeah.
that's what the show's about. But in real life, I don't talk about like
She
sex
she
and
like dicks,
and-
vaginas,
yeah,
dicks.
yeah. When I check it out at the grocery store,
That's
I'm
gonna be
like,
the weirdest.
hey,
That's gonna be the weirdest clip to cut out from anything. Just dicks,
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 dicks, dicks. Toku, get it? Dicks.
you can join
All
in
right.
with us.
Right?
If you so feel inclined.
Toku, please. I know you've already done it. I tried to make sure we fed enough for you. Oh my God, no! But when it comes to that whole thing, yeah, it is slightly disingenuous. Yeah, it's a slight lie, but is it a good lie? Is it a white lie? Is it a bad
I
lie?
don't know. Okay, see, if you're not lying about who you are, because there's a difference between being yourself and maybe being the best version of yourself for
Uh-huh. Right.
the time being. Because, like, if I go on a date, I'm going to be. Oh, we got a super chat from the
Jeez.
Blur. Thank you so much. What is a way to tell a friend that is into me sexually and I don't feel the same way and only see them as a friend? Ooh, and you feel they will not take it well. That is a rough
Well,
situation.
Honestly, if it's a friend that's into you sexually and you don't feel the same way, you have to kind of lean hope for the friend part by being able to trust that they will be able to take it well.
Otherwise, they're
mean-
not really interested in being friends. I mean, if it's gonna break up
That's
over
it.
that, you're not
That's it.
friends. I'm sorry. It's just like I
That's
want
it.
you.
That's why I said lean on to the friendship and hope that they'll be able to handle it. And if they can't, well then they weren't friends to begin with, and they just wanted
were just
your,
chasing you.
They just wanted your sweet googlies, whatever
Yeah.
those are. I don't know. I don't know. if
Guys and
birds
girls
are
have
guys,
different
girls. Yeah,
googlies.
that's why I said sweet googlies.
And
But
I'm not
that
surprised.
could be it.
I do play a lot of dating sims.
Do you?
Yeah, hot to full boyfriend.
Oh,
Club,
okay,
Tank
okay,
Girl.
okay. All
If you ever
right.
want to play it, I don't have a Twitch, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're. That's what I'm saying. Okay, all right, cool.
VNs,
I was
they're
like,
great,
I
guys.
love those.
They're great. They're super fun. If you ever want to date pigeons, highly recommended.
Pigeons.
Yeah.
I love this so much. I
But,
love this.
It,
I've
it,
always
it,
wondered what
it,
it was
it
like.
didn't bode well. I was actually pecked to death by hawks in my cave while I was sleeping. So maybe don't date pigeons. Up to you.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I was a lonely girl, last little human girl living in my
okay,
cave,
so
and
you-
try to hit on some of that pigeon tail, and got pecked to death by some hawks. Wasn't great.
Were the Hawks like, oh, you're talking to my girl?
I don't know. I got it. I'm not sure what happened, but the game started over, and I was like, did I just die?
Yeah, what just
And
happened
I had to
there?
start over,
And
so
it's
yeah,
like,
I died.
Okay, all right. So that's now L's joke on the show.
But yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay,
So,
well.
I mean, I feel like I know Daniel well enough where it's like
yeah.
this personality is not really a facade. This is actually how he is, but
Yeah.
he just has to maintain it for a full hour.
It's
But
true.
I feel like
It's
we
true.
are really our advice is 100% what we think is honest, true to ourselves.
It is. It is. I mean,
But yeah,
we
I don't
kind
go
of
around the
whatever.
grocery store or the public parks going like dicks all the
No,
time.
no,
I definitely
no.
don't do that. I only
No,
do it for
we
you
do-
guys because you guys are special.
But we also don't run around. We also don't run around telling people like, "So what's your problem? How can
that's
I
true.
help you? Yo, let me fix your life."
That
No,
is-
we don't do that. So it's just there's a
It's
different
true.
thing. I think everyone does slightly compartmentalize socially, and
It's
in
true.
all
Like,
of other ways.
is
Just-
the person you are with your parents the same person you are with your friends? Do you use the same lingo? Do you use the same words? Do you talk about the same things? In most cases, probably not.
Yeah, most cases probably not, but there are a lot of people that sometimes it's like, yeah, definitely. I'm just me all the time, and it's like that is dope, and I
And that
am
is like
even
genuinely
actually
honest, and I feel like that
I
is.
envy that. I really do. I feel that there are moments in my life I have to do that, and then also being a minority, there's the thing about code switching. Like it's like,
No,
okay,
it's
hey,
true.
I'll speak one way when I have my
true.
friends versus my other way when I speak with another group of friends. Versus it just keeps going. Like that's just the way it is. And it's unfortunate, but like you said before, this is the country that we're in.
It is. And I feel like putting on a different face that you have internally is still the same. Like, yo, you're going out on Friday night, you're at a club, and you're like, yeah, like, let's party, let's have a good time. You walk into church, you ain't going to be like that. I mean, maybe you are. I don't know. Like, it could be. But you're not going to be like, hey, let's get some drinks up in here.
Right. Oh, what? Oh,
Some wine?
Is this
All
the
right.
Eucharist? What? Ba-ba-ba-ba. Like, you're not going to do that right there at church.
But yeah, it is slightly different, but they're all different aspects of yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it isn't necessarily a lie unless you're flat out like, hey, this is something I believe when it absolutely isn't, or this is something I
Ooh.
do when it doesn't. Like, there's lying and there's kind of putting on your different shades of personality, I feel like.
Okay, all right. Now, where do you see that example in The Boys?
Okay, so we'll call him our main character, but Huey, he meets this girl.
Uh-huh.
She happens to be a superhero. He happens to be hiding the fact that, he murdered some people.
Sure.
So, and potentially some of her friends.
Maybe.
So we all have secrets, right?
Right.
And it's like at one point, but I feel like their connection seems to be honest when they're sitting on a bench and they don't know each other's like past, and they're kind of like, she's like, I'm having a bad day at work. She doesn't tell him like, hey, this guy tried to rape me and
Yeah,
like do all this
exactly.
shit, and he was like, oh, I'm having a bad time too. Doesn't have to say like.
My fiance died
And
due to a super blah,
and
blah,
I totally murdered somebody earlier,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm dealing with a little bit of PTSD, but I feel like they really did connect. Like they were still kind of being true to a point, maybe a mission of some of the stuff because they literally just met on a park bench, and I don't think you need to expose everything.
True.
So, do you have to hide what you are or what you did to impress somebody?
I don't think it's about hiding. It's about the proper time. Everything
Yes.
has its right time. We live in seasons. So I feel that there may not be the best time to be like, oh, hey, my last relationship was blah, 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 blah. No,
Yeah.
that may be too much. Hold back. Go ahead and just tell what needs to be told at this time, unless it's something that's like really huge concerning who you are and your personality and how it will affect the date. And the next
I
two
feel like
dates,
that
if
is
it's like the
true, and
first.
it's like there's certain things that you might want to clear out of the way, like hey, I have a kid, but I'm looking to date,
Yes.
but I'm not looking
Yes.
for anything serious, and I feel
There
like
you go.
the level of commitment that you're generally looking for, I kind of feel like you could kind of bring that out on a first date if it's not
Definitely.
anything more than dating, where it's like I just want something serious, like I'm getting older and I don't want to mess around with anybody.
That makes
And if
sense.
it doesn't end, like, hey, I still had a really great time with you. I think you're a really interesting person, and I wish you the best if it doesn't work out,
True.
But I feel like you need to be kind of honest, but also you don't relate everything. Like, you don't need to give them your memoirs when you first meet somebody, Back at 7 years old, this is
it
where
is
I
true.
found out that my life had begun because such and such and whatever. But yeah.
Back at 7 years old.
Yeah, and that's when I realized mortality and whatever is in your memoirs. I don't know. But if it's that stuff, we don't want to hear it. Just like,
No
how's
one
your
does.
day to some random person? You know what?
Yeah.
We don't really care about that right now.
Right now,
Maybe
yeah.
when we're friends and we get to know each
That's
other,
true.
then you can tell me all about that. But we only really got a minute of conversation time.
Well, what am I supposed to do
I
with
gotta
that?
go. Gotta go.
God. It's very true. Bulking, expectation, reality. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. But that does bring up a point concerning expectation and reality. When it comes to expecting something on a date, you
Yes.
head over there and you're like, all right, I'm going to be suave, I'm going to be debonair, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you set your expectations too high for what you think you are going to be, will you end up showing up as a fake person versus the actual you?
That is where the gray area I feel like comes into play. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I go on a first date, I put on a little bit extra makeup. I like take time to
that's
straighten
fine,
my
right?
hair and do all this. And it's like I want to be charming and I want to be funny.
Of
But
course.
let's be honest, if we are on the date long enough, you're gonna find out that like I really don't know a lot of stuff. That I'm just can't speak intelligently on things like politics. Or like foreign policies, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
I
if
don't
that's what you're into, like I can't lie and be like, I'm so sorry. That might be super interesting for you, but you've lost my interest, as Joe would say.
No,
And
but see,
can
but-
we talk about anything else
But see,
other than that?
But once again, you would show up and you would tell the truth.
I would.
You wouldn't. So you wouldn't show up and be like, all right, well, oh yeah, I know, huh? Putin. Oh boy, here we go again. No, Das Vidania. That's the only thing I know. I saw that
And-
joke on CNN. I don't. Like you don't want to do that.
But I feel like it would be okay for you to be like, hey, I don't know a lot about that subject. If you could tell it to me like you're talking to a 5-year-old, it would help me a lot engage in this conversation. But there's different approaches. Like for me, where it's like politics, my level of interest is quite low unless it substantially like affects me, where it's like,
Right.
no, like, hey, you're working as this, I think you really need to know about. Oh, you know what, I'm super interested, but the lingo that you're using is way
It's way
above
over
my
my
head.
head. Yeah, I don't
Talk
know.
to me like you're talking to a 5-year-old. It could be kind of like a fun role-playing game. You never know where that leads.
Yeah,
but
honestly, but really, when it comes to changing yourself, the one person that you really want to change yourself for is you, and you want to do it so that you are actually bettering yourself. You know, you have to be able to have a time where you're going to be accountable for something that is going to be like, dang, this could have been better
Sure.
if I did. If I did, you won't have to worry about the if I dids. You know, so that's the only time you should ever worry about really changing yourself. Be you, because you, the best you, is the real you. You know, and that's something I always suggest. But that definitely brings us to the question that we have.
yeah,
written over
we
us.
do have one. I'm going to read it off my phone. Don't mind me.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so it's like I wanted to ask if changing any or everything about you to be more appealing is a good thing. I bring this up since I'm very much a geek. I do my best to hide it, to make myself more appealing to the opposite sex. Even though many I've courted are glad I'm not speaking highly about my love of fandoms or being a geek, they still will not let me go out on a date. Understand that when we make our moves, we must show our best moves. However, I'm not happy that this is also in the geek community too. That's interesting. It seems it's hypocritical in this community when we are together due to our love in any fandoms. This person is focusing on their career. I run once a week, slowly began to dress more stylishly, keep a cleaner look. I work to not be boring or pushy and be confident in me. It seems lately I need to be someone else to even get someone to consider to go out with me. The thing is, okay, when you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
the people you encounter or the people that you keep around you, friends, family, whatever, they should inspire you to be a better person. They are not there to push you or change you or to tell you like they're doing it wrong. They just live their lives. They are who they are, and you love them because they're great people, and you might want to be more like them.
Okay.
If it's a change you want for yourself, I would say do it. But if you're hiding who you are to go on a date, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Honestly, like, and the thing is, I get what you're saying about in the geek community, how sometimes it's like hypocritical because it's like, all right, you're geeks because you obsess over a particular thing, a fandom, and you're into that fandom and you love it and you want to talk about it. But the thing is, it's like, there are so many fandoms. And the thing is, so you're like, hey, I like Doctor Who. You're like, I hate Doctor Who. I like Bill and Ted.
But I
don't
think
know.
that's fine.
Whatever
But
it
I
may
feel
be.
like when you have these kind of like immediate like disagreements, it leaves room for more interesting conversation where it's like, why don't you like Doctor Who? Oh, I don't like that it's super corny and cheesy. You'd be like, you know what? I understand that it's not for everybody. I happen to love that. But Bill and Ted is also super corny, and it doesn't
right.
make sense. And it's also,
Exactly.
they went back and brought Napoleon to eat ice cream and go to Waterloo, which is the water park, and it's ridiculous. And you can kind of find common ground and find understanding about how the other person thinks, which is kind of more important than what he or she doesn't like. It's like, why do you like that? And if I can introduce you or like, you know, figure it out, it makes it way more interesting.
True.
Because it's easy to go up like, hey, I like Power Rangers. Me too. Oh, conversation's dead.
Yeah, I guess that happened. That
Yeah.
was quick. Well, no, then of course, it's, so who's your favorite Ranger? Who's your favorite Sixth Ranger? Oh, really? Who's your favorite monster? Who's your favorite villain?
But that's a
Who's your-
one-word
you know, and
answer.
they go
But
back
when you
and forth.
ask the question, be like a
Yeah.
young child who just learned to speak, like at 3-4 years old,
So the why.
and ask why.
Yes! I love it.
That is more
It does
important.
cause conversation.
Yeah, and it brings out more of a person's personality.
That's right.
And it makes them more interesting. Like, why do you like this person? Oh, you know, because whatever reason they might have. And same thing for you. And you can find commonality in that kind of disagreement. Like, oh, I understand what you're saying, you know? And yeah, so you don't have to hide who you are. You don't have to say like, oh, hide your fandoms and hide your geekery. But I think the way that you approach it, be like, hey, like you're into, like I met you at a convention. You're obviously into some kind of like pop culture or nerdy, geeky stuff. Like, what is your fandom? Oh, I've never heard of that. Tell me more. Oh.
Right.
Or it's like, oh, that video game. I don't really play video games, but that sounds like a story or whatever. You know, like, I feel like it's
true.
pretty easy.
It's true. It's true. I mean, yeah, Comic Girls, you are saying it. I'm breaking it down easily. He's basically said, you know, that him as a geek is a turnoff. And when he isn't geeky, it also sucks.
You just got to find the right person. Maybe those people suck, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it may just be the people that you're interested in. They just may not be within that same realm. Sometimes it does help to kind of find someone within your circle. It doesn't have to be your immediate social circle, but it could just be
Preferably
in
not
that-
for like
yeah.
testing out the waters.
Exactly. Like for example, like we said, oh, okay, you're a Whovian. Well, then you're gonna go to a Doctor Who convention. Hopefully, you'll be able to find someone there. Or if you are geeky and you like geeky things, well, then there has to be a con, a Comic Con, or something that you'll be able to go to. And when you're there, go ahead and don't be afraid to step out and say hello, talk to someone, have a conversation. Compliment them on their cosplay or something that they're at and that they like, and start it up that way, and find someone that shares the same type of interest that you have. That can work because you can build from that. If you want to go ahead and test the waters and go for someone who doesn't know anything that you like or doesn't like what you like, be prepared to ask the questions so you can learn more about it. Ask the why.
Yeah.
Find out
But
more.
also, like, okay, if you are trying to be geeky and then you're trying to not be geeky and it's not working out, I don't want to be jumping to conclusions, but maybe the way you're approaching dates, like, don't be like that toxic fandom kind of person. Like, you need to know, like, hey, we all know people like that get into these huffy arguments that become super toxic, and it really puts people off, which is why, like, you can be passionate about something without being a dick.
That's true.
Because I've seen people like
That's
that where it's like,
true.
I'm a geek, she's a geek, why doesn't she like me? Or, I'm a geek, he don't like me.
And
like,
that's it. Now I'm upset, and you're like, "Well, I'm
there
sorry."
was a
this is the
term,
way
my
it
friend
works.
just told me about it, about people who's like, oh, I'm a great person, they deserve whatever terrible stuff they are. I forget what that term is, but it's like, oh, I totally hit on this girl, she has a boyfriend, well, fuck her, she should
now
like
she
me.
should
And,
like me.
and there's
now,
like this thing, and it's like,
and that's
you
why
don't
he's
have to-
gonna cheat on her now, and blah
Yeah.
blah. You're like, whoa.
Or it's like, oh, her car caught on fire, I don't care. Or like, oh, the earthquake destroyed her home, I don't care. Like she deserves it. And there'll be people online that's like, yeah,
That's true.
definitely deserves it.
That's true.
So after a certain point, it might be how you approach it. You can still have your same thoughts and opinions, but if you've ever taken something that's like talking persuasively,
Yes.
that might be know your audience, know who you're talking to.
Honestly, that is something I would suggest.
And I don't want to say you're like that, but like, man, if you're having a hard time, the people suck, or there is a possibility that you might be approaching it
Oh yeah.
with a certain viewpoint that might not be pleasing to a majority of people.
It's possible.
Sometimes
we don't know.
it's like you got to look inwardly and be like, hey, how can I better myself? And it sounds like you're going running. Physicality is a part of it. It's not a big part.
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
It is personality. You can win anyone over.
It's true. It's true. It just depends on what your intentions are.
Yeah, because
Or
like
winning
I
them
look at a guy and I don't know. It's like last week tonight. His name's John Oliver. He is not an attractive dude, objectively, in my opinion. He has glasses and he just looks like kind of like a very basic British man. But he is
Right.
so, or his writers or whatever, his delivery is so ridiculously
Quick,
witty,
yeah,
and funny. And I don't know anything about politics, but man, he makes me so interested in that stuff, and I absolutely adore him.
I feel it's the Goldblum effect, but he's actually a really attractive
Yes.
guy. But still, nonetheless, some people are like, really? Oh, that's not classically attractive at all. He's tall, he's lanky, he has a long nose. He has
And
a
he
long
says
nose, he's gangly.
all the time. Like he
All the
never
time.
has to collect it. He always has to collect
Collect
his
his
thoughts,
thought.
and he was like, and life
oh, yes,
finds
I
a
know.
way.
I know,
But it's like
I know.
ridiculously charming. So there
true.
are ways
It's true.
that I don't know.
Personality wins through, and it does shine through. You just have to find your audience. You have to read the room. That's the thing. So I would definitely.
But you don't want to
suggest
be
doing
fake
that.
either. If you're going on a
No.
date and it's like you're not doing everything to bend over backwards to please someone, you do want to be yourself because they're eventually going to find out who you are.
And that's the thing I'm worrying right now. Like I see Jalen just said, honestly, I would change myself for the person. I'm more afraid of showing who I am than being the person she wants.
It's true because there's a certain point where it's like even in relationships where it's like I feel like I have changed, but it's for a very positive, better way, and it's because I wanted to, not because anyone told me to.
But he's saying honestly he would change himself for the person, and that's why I'm like, don't ever consider changing yourself for this person because now this is the way it works.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you show up, you're wearing a mask, right? Hi, this is who I am, blah, blah, conversation, blah, blah, all
Yeah.
this stuff. They see you for that mask, right?
Yes.
One day, you're going to remove that mask, and, it's just like, let's say, okay, they met you, they're gullible, it's just, the mask is me, that's always it, and blah, blah, we go to sleep. I take off the mask, and then you wake up, and you're like, oh, who is this person in the bed next to me? It's
Sure.
not you. One day, that will happen, where you're going to be like, I need to stretch. I can't wear this mask all the time. I can't be this guy who just gives you a smile all the time and tells you everything is great and everything you do is amazing and blah, blah, blah. There's going to be a moment where you can't keep that up and it's going to fall. And when that falls, they'll see your countenance fall. They'll see it all on your face before you even say the thing that's going to offend them or shock them. Because the thing is, it's just who we are. And it's written all over your face. You wear it on your shoulders. It's just your whole temperament, your feeling for everything, and they'll notice it.
But it is easy. So this is where another gray area comes from, where you want to change to be with someone that you like.
Yeah.
But also there is that little bit of influence. Like I dated a guy, never went to conventions, never into cosplay. We're broken up now. But he loves it. Like he's doing it on his own. And it's like, I feel like that influence did come from me where it's like, hey, you like this culture. And maybe initially you did it for me to hang out with me and be interested in what I'm interested in. But you found a true desire and like love for it on your own, which I think is super great. So there is like, I don't know how
see,
to articulate it between changing yourself and
isn't
kind of
that-
just being positively influenced.
Yes, there you go. Because I mean, when you're dating someone, you want to learn about them. You want to try to experience the things that they experience and see why these things give them joy.
Yeah.
So you will go. Okay, she likes the opera. I fucking hate the opera. But you'll go. You'll go to this opera show. You'll go to this thing. You'll go to this thing. You hate Broadway. She's going to Hamilton every freaking week. Or whatever. Blah blah blah. You'll go too. It's like the phrase where people say like for example, in Pulp Fiction, he's like, yeah, on the account that I don't eat burgers, because, my girlfriend, she's a vegetarian, which means I'm a vegetarian. So blah, blah. And it's like, it just goes that way, where it's like, you do some things, it's a give and take.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. So you want to learn more about that person, you want to know what they like. So that's why you did it. I wouldn't say that
You're
it's
necessarily
anything bad,
changing.
but I do like the positive influence.
But the thing is,
That's
I feel
the
like it's one of those things where you don't know if you like or do not like opera. And be like, because I like you, I will go. I have reservations about spending that much money on something I don't know I'm going to love. But because I love you, I will go. But I feel like after that, and she asked, like, hey, did you like it? Be like, it's not really my thing.
Yeah,
I like
true.
sports. But, you like it. And I feel like you could be honest, like, if you want to go again in the future, I'll go for you.
I'll go for you.
Because I want to spend time with you. And I really want to like the stuff that you like, but
See?
really this might not be for me.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you can take someone that loves it, you should probably take someone that can share in that enthusiasm and hype. We had
very
that
true.
question with the whole baby metal thing where I'm pretending to
Oh,
like baby.
yeah.
It's like, I want to send you and your girlfriends. I actually don't like them as much as I told you. You know?
Oh, that is true. That is so true.
So be yourself and be honest, but also there's a way to put your best foot forward about
yeah.
being who you are.
That's it.
You know?
That's exactly it. I agree with that. Where are we on time right now?
We don't know.
9:42.
So we have a little bit of time. Do we have like another
Yes,
question?
we
that
do
we
have
to say?
another question then. This kind of question is slightly off from the topic, but it's still a good question. Titled Vacation Photos.
All right, let's get into it.
My boyfriend and I just came home from vacation. Now I wanted to see the photos he took on his phone. With his permission, obviously.
Good, like that.
Here's a part to note. I really hate his phone. It's old. It has cracked screen and it's glitchy. Maybe I'm stupid and can't navigate it properly, but I hate the album icon. I hit the album icon, and when I hit that, it took me to a page where I immediately see his ex-girlfriend's face. It had all these coupley photos, them hugging, kissing, and at Disneyland and on vacation or whatever. Should I be upset? Should I ask him to delete them or what? What do I do?
Honestly, the way that she's describing the phone being old AF, I kind of feel like he might have never even gone through some of that stuff. And
I think if you showed him, he'd be like, oh, those still exist? I thought after you break up, they just disappear. I don't know. You know, like, I don't know.
You
like,
never know. But then also, like, the other part, like, even if he knew they were on there,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like that is part of the past and made him who he was. And it's like, you know, like Rascal Flatts song, like, God bless the broken road that, you know, led me straight to you. Yeah, and it's
that's
like,
right.
even though, like, you kind of still love everyone you used to love, at least a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm like that. Even the terrible breakups, like, the parts that were good are still good.
Look, when a part is good, it's always good. That's the thing. It's good. But when a part is bad, when a part is horrible, then it's bad. It's horrible. It's trash. Scorched earth.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in that photo, that one moment, you know, look at this photograph. Every time it makes me laugh. You know, like, but you look at that photo.
I like that impression. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Right? But you look at it and you're like, yo, at this one moment, this reminded me when we were happy. Yeah. You know? Even though anything else may be shit, that one moment. So the thing is, people do tend to keep old pictures of people that they loved before.
I mean, I do. I
don't
have them on my phone.
No.
But I do have them, like, my old hard drive or something like that.
There you go. You know?
Or like on Facebook, if you scroll back far enough, it might be in there.
There we go. Yeah, like, so that's a good question before I really go further into it. When you break up with someone, do you delete them from, like, social media? Do you go through and try to delete?
It has been a while, but I do delete them. I'm the type where it's like I need to rediscover who I am after a breakup. Because when you're with someone for any amount of time, you kind of your interests become fused. That whole thing of like, hey, you know, we used to do this together. And I'm the type that's like a clean break. If after a year or however much time has passed to get over it, you want to be friends again, usually okay. Like, yeah, you want to add me back? No hard feelings. It's just right after I need to figure out who I am without you, because your identities eventually do kind of fuse together, like the married couples, you know? Even if you're not married. Even if it's only a year, you still are.
The thing is, if you're a couple, then I mean that's what you are.
You're a couple.
People
two
see
people
you
as one.
There you go. That's what people see. That's what they see, and that's it. They're just like, yep, that's it. That's who you are. You and this person. That's how I know you guys. And then there'll be a moment where if you guys break up, God forbid, whatever happens, then you're not that anymore. People got to get accustomed to that again. But for me, definitely, I do delete old. Like, you know, that thing, because, you know, I mean, once I get single, I need to get single. I don't want girls going back and be like, oh, he got a girlfriend, you know, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that could have been me and you. That could have been me and you. You know, so I clear that out.
Larry Newbill, thank you so much for Nickelback's Lost member. Yes, this is Daniel. You can hire him for your parties.
That's right. I will go ahead and sing all of your Nickelback songs.
Talk about all of your photographs.
What other songs do they sing?
I don't know.
I only know that song, and I didn't even know that was them. I don't know why I thought it was Creed. So, yeah, that's a problem. No, but, like, clearing everything out, you know, I'm cleaning out my closet. I'm doing the dishes.
Yeah, it's spring cleaning. I get rid of it.
Exactly.
I don't
But-
go back and, like, depending how long you're dating them, go through every Facebook album and try to find, like, all 150 photos and manually delete each one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. But off of my actual phone, where you can go through albums, like, those get uploaded to my computer, moved to my external hard drive to view whenever I need to,
And that's
want
it.
to, whatever.
Right?
You
And
know,
that's it for me. Yeah,
they're
that's
past
exactly
memories.
what I would do. But I'm not, though I'm different and I do not keep my old girlfriend's pictures and stuff like that, some people do. I know a lot of people that do. And a lot of people will say, like you said, it's that road that got me here to you. It's also a building block of my life, and it's something that's important to me.
And
That's
the
how someone
lessons that
explained it to me.
I've learned a lot of lessons by dating a lot of people, and, like, I've grown as a person. I hope
Mm-hmm.
to be better. And it is one of those things. And it's like, I understand that if anyone else that I dated, like, found it, might be a little bit upset. But also, I would hope that it's like they take it with a grain of salt and be like, you know, what?
Hey, one day this could be me. Wait, hold on.
What?
No, but
I didn't always knew you had my ex-girlfriend.
yeah, right. Pretty much.
Ex-boyfriend.
Oh, sorry, I always knew it. No,
Yeah.
but still with it. Nonetheless, the thing is, it's like, look,
Matthew
he's
Thompson,
not
you don't have
talking-
to hire Daniel. He'll do it for free.
Oh yeah, for you, I got you. I got you. I'm cool.
What were you saying?
But honestly, I feel that I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset concerning it. I would let it go. It's not a big thing. Does he have a shrine to her? Is he still emailing her and saying, oh, I looked at our pictures last week and blah, blah, yada, yada, all that stuff. If none of that is happening and it's just, he just happened to have the pictures, I doubt he even recognized that they were there.
Especially
Don't-
if you look at the dates and they're like from
Exactly.
years and years ago.
Exactly.
The thing you have to worry about is if you see the date stamp, and
Yeah.
that was last week.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
you need to do some
Yeah,
confrontation.
because then all of a sudden he's going on to social media and pulling those down before they get deleted.
Yeah.
Then that's an issue too, and he's like saving them and all that. But if they're old and they're just like, yeah, they were taken, they're old, and that's it, let it go.
But see,
And-
I would address it right then and there and be like, "Hey, babe, who's this? Oh, my ex."
But she knows who it is. I
Oh.
mean, you saw it. She said it in the email.
that's
So I
true.
was like, oh,
That's
she
true.
knows. But no, that's still, I mean, still could be cool. Well, no, it wouldn't be, hey, well, who is it? But yeah, I mean, if you needed to talk about it, that was the time to talk about it then.
Toku is.
You want to hire Daniel like, so my clown for your parties? Ha ha ha! Here I am, honk my horn, then honk my nose, whatever. That's what you're talking about, huh? Yeah, I'm not gonna- I'm
Where
not
this
gonna-
New York
No,
accent
no,
come from?
that's what I am. That's what I am to you. I'm a clown. Ha ha ha! Look at me. You hire me for parties? No.
That's a good voice.
I got your clown right here. No, but I would say don't worry about it. You should have talked about it then. If you still want to talk about it, you always can. I mean, conversation is conversation.
And just be like, "Hey, it's still bothering me. I'm sorry. I tried to forget it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't. And you guys been together, and he should be understanding me." Like, it kind of just sounds like his phone is old and broke, and he probably just never went in to clean it.
Yeah, but the thing is, look out for what you're looking for, because once you do find it, it can be a problem. The thing
What
is,
you mean?
she ends up saying, okay, well, she saw the picture.
Yeah.
It was by accident, okay,
Yeah.
natural, blah, blah, blah.
Innocent,
But she didn't,
for sure.
She didn't say anything. She just saw it and then stopped looking. Okay, fine. Tells the girls are like, "Oh, girl, well, I mean, either you're upset or you're not, blah, blah, whatever they tell you."
Yeah.
I know you're hearing a bunch of advice from different ways. But the thing is, nonetheless, if you end up getting to a point where now you confront him and you're like, "Hey, this is bothering me, blah, blah, yada, yada," the reason you're doing that is because you want him now to delete it. What happens when he says, "No, this is a part of my life and I wanted to hold on to it"? Now, I didn't even know it was there, but now that I do know it's there, I want to keep it.
Ooh.
What happens then? That's why I said, watch out. When you start going in, you start digging, trying to look for something, trying to find something, because you find it, now you got to deal with it. Now it's in your face. And the thing is, what's going to happen if he chooses to say, no, I'm not going to delete it? Be prepared for that. That's what I'm trying to say.
That is actually extremely good advice, because it's like,
It is.
there are some
Prepare
people
for
out there,
worse.
like, there's people like me. I still have letters from boyfriends in high school that I was just like, "Oh, that's so sweet. This is the letter where he asked me out to the dance, to the winter formal."
Exactly.
There's a little picture
Exactly.
in there, and I'm like, "Look how cute and young we were." Do I have any romantic feelings for that person now?
No,
not
no.
even a little bit.
I
But
still
that's a
have
part
my-
of my life, and it was fun. And it's like, that's so sweet.
I
On
still have my
line paper,
proms. Yeah, I
check
still
yes
have-
or no.
I still have my proms, my prom dates, like that picture. My mother still has my prom picture
Yeah.
with the girl that I dated during that time.
Because
and
it's
she
like
still
you're
has it
dressed
there.
up, and it's like
it's my
stuff
problem.
like that. It's so far in the past. It really shouldn't affect you. Like I said, if it was like last week, like right after you got back from your vacation, time to have a conversation. But if it was from that time in his life, you gotta appreciate it. Kind of like
I would love to freak out my mom though, because the thing is, I went to prom with someone who later became a porn star. So I would love to be like, I would love to be like, hey mom, want to see her now? Yeah, yeah. Enjoy prom now, mom. It would ruin her. She'd probably,
that's just mean.
me.
That's, yeah.
She'd probably murder me.
I don't want to see though.
I do want to.
I kind of want to see her.
I'll show you. But yeah. But I mean, the thing is, the past is the past. Like it did on Lion King, you know. Boom. What does it matter? It was in the past, you know. Like,
but the past still hurts.
It hurts.
But the thing is, you move on from it.
Exactly.
You know?
But you can learn from it, and that's the thing. And with that being the case, learn that. Even though it's just an old picture, and most likely you didn't know about it, but you'll find out. You just talk to him.
If you want. Like it's and if you can just let it go, honestly, I would just let it go.
Come on, Elsa. Just deal with it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just let it go. Let it go. But if you can't let it go, and the past hurts, and Rafiki hit you in the head, so you have to say something, then if you do say something, be prepared for the worst as well as the good as well. Because most likely it sounds like he's going to be like, oh, really? Oh, okay. All right, and then you're gonna say, "So, are you gonna delete them? Do you want me to?" It's probably gonna be that kind of thing. Do you want me to? Okay, all right. That's it.
And then there's always that option of going back to the recently deleted and putting them back in. You know what I mean?
I would be like, no problem, baby. I'll delete them right quick. Boom, boom.
And then
at that later,
deleted.
I'll go back to that trash thing. I'll go ahead and put them. I'll put them into a folder.
Restore.
Yeah, restore, and then put them over there. But no, I would only. I only do that for like nude pictures. I wouldn't do that for anything else. So, but I mean, go on, think about it. If somebody sends you nudes. Those pictures are never out in the open anyway. You should always, you want to protect someone's privacy. They sent you that and like they trusted you, right?
That's why I was like, delete. You gotta delete those when you're done. You get a new one, gotta delete the old one. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Well, see, that's easy for women.
Because if you got a collection, then someone sees your phone, you're like, damn, how long you been hanging on to these?
No, but I have a collection. But
I believe you do.
No, but for women, it's kind of easy because it's like, all right, well, what are you gonna do when it comes to, hey, guy, send me a nude picture? It's not that much it's got going on there. It's just, here it is. No woman says, turn around, let me see your butt. So it's just always,
and it's true. And honestly, women too, like 90% of the time, we don't even solicit it. It just comes.
Oh, yeah.
We're like,
that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not an attractive body part.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
It looks like, oh, God. I'm so sorry. Oh, God, yes, that's right. The part that's connected to that part is, oh, God.
But yeah, I don't know if we helped answer your question, but I feel like today's lessons, should we wrap them up? Be yourself, but try to be a good self, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time.
There you go. Be yourself, be honest, be ready to have a conversation. It doesn't have to be the conversation, whatever that the may be, but have a conversation. And in that conversation, be genuine, be honest. Don't be afraid to be you. And
if you are mopey all the time, and you're just like Eeyore, and you're like, oh, today, be who you are. Maybe someone out there, you may not encounter them for a while.
Yeah, who knows?
But there's someone for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, Eeyore did find a female Eeyore or something. It was on that Valentine's episode and blah, blah. So, I mean, it's possible, Everybody can find somebody. So, until then, I guess what we should say is... make sure to hit up Toku for any of my bookings concerning clowning.
He said he was going to make a commercial of you, and I'm pretty sure he's going to use dicks in your commercial.
That's right. Dress up as a clown. Like, just make sure you hit up Toku Kid for my my booking. If you guys are interested in hiring me anytime within the tri-state area.
As a clown, as a Nickelback impersonator.
As a Nickelback impersonator. I do so much. I am the hardest working man. I am. I'm the hardest working man here at Hashtag. And then Elle, of course, the hardest working woman. So that's why we have the show.
Sometimes.
So, Elle, where can everyone find you?
I am actually running our Cosmic Protectors Instagram page. We don't have a whole lot of posts right now, but we're releasing stuff every day. We have some posts about Roxy from Beast Morphers, Liana Ramirez. We also are going to be having a giveaway soon, so tune in to the Cosmic Protectors Instagram page if you want to hear about that stuff. You'll also see a lot of videos of Daniel over here talking about his character, the Purple Cosmic Protector, which is amazing.
Possibly
and then we also
character.
have Joe talking about what Cosmic Protectors is if you have any questions about it.
That's right. So definitely head on over there to Cosmic Protectors. Is it THS or is it just
No, it is just Cosmic Protectors.
Head on over to Cosmic Protectors on Instagram. You can also go to patreon.com/Cosmic Protectors if you want to find out what's happening on the Patreon and how you can be a part of making sure that this gets created.
It's getting created anyway.
No,
don't
I said
worry.
the way you want it to, you know. Which means you
or if you want, that's what I'm saying. If you want to be a ranger or a villain, choose your side.
Mm-hmm.
You can also subscribe to one of those tiers, and we will write you into one of the comic book story arcs.
Oh, heck yeah. So you guys check that out. Make sure you do. I'm Daniel. This is that hashtag show. We just talked about Cosmic Protectors. And make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Keep up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.